Hi, this is Gail and welcome. This is the week 29 for Roxy Creations challenge, and this is the mini wraparound notebook. Now, I did mine a little bit differently from her in terms of the closure. I did not put a hole and string my twine through it like this one, okay? This is actually week 30, and I'll get to those and film those hopefully this weekend. Now, this one, again, is using promissory notes, and the binding that I used is leaving the string long and to the outside when you bind. I'm turning off autofocus. I just noticed that my computer started and then restarted, and so therefore it turned autofocus back on. So anyhow, this promissory note was one that printed full page. All I did was double it over and glue it, which gives it a bit more strength actually. And then you cut paper. These could be just papers that you have left after you cut down a 12 by 12 sheet or something. These happen to be, they're called parchment papers. These are the darker ones that I probably wouldn't use in a nice journal, but I thought they worked really fine for these little notebooks, and you can still see the writing on them, but you know, hey, use what you have. So these are super easy. So basically I folded this down, tri-folded it, and I pretty much left just enough to flap over, which is about what, maybe 2 inches. Let's see here. Yep, maybe 1 3/4 inches. But it really depends upon the size of your papers that you're using. So it's a tri-fold. And this is left free and this is left free. Really, the only thing keeping anything attached is your binding in the center. It's a 3-hole pamphlet stitch with the strings left on the outside and left long enough so that you can wrap them around like so and then tie, and everything is distressed as well. I really love these promissory notes, and so I chose not to do a lot of decorating. And the only thing I put on this was a vellum stamp, okay? You can do whatever you want. I also felt like it might be cool to just wait and decorate them when I actually use them. I chose not to use the eyelet and the hole here. I really am not using metal eyelets in these. Adds more bulk, and these aren't real sturdy, so I feel like that eyelet would just rip out if you're not careful. So instead, in the ones that I will show you for next challenge, Roxy uses the little reinforcers around the hole, and then I use baker's twine on this one, which you could use on this too. You can use whatever you want to bind them. You can do the closure like Roxy did on these. You can just watch her video and see. And again, I'm not going to do all of them for the full 45 minutes. I just feel like once you see them, you get the idea, and these are really, really basic. So, there you have it. Now, I have different sizes that the promissory notes printed off. So there's this size as well, and again, I did the same type of closure, and so you can see, and this time the promissory note, this is it full size. Okay, so it was kind of an awkward size, but I was determined not to waste it. So I did use it for the little notebooks. Obviously, this is just one piece of paper, so I stenciled. And some of my favorite stencils for use for this kind of thing are these, for example. These are called, pardon the language, badass stencils. They come from iStencil, and if you hold off and wait until they introduce new stencils from an artist, they also give great coupons, like 20 and 25% off coupons for their stencils. But I love the badass stencils. They are truly gorgeous, and this is just one. And that's what I used on this one. Now, here's another one just out of, and you can see it's well loved, but it's lace, and it is gorgeous. These are some of the ones I use for dyeing my paper, you know, coffee and tea dyeing as well. So those are just a few. But go to iStencils, I'll leave the link below. Okay, so just stenciled inside. I did not add anything inside. This paper is that newspaper print paper, because I didn't have any scraps big enough to make this, and I just thought, hey, that newspaper print paper, try to say that fast, is it's lightweight, and I'm really trying to not make my embellishments so bulky, so my journals are therefore not so bulky. Okay, and again, the same type of closure. So it wraps around and wraps around and ties, and that's it. Okay, so you get the idea, and we will move on. Pardon my little stubby fingers here are struggling with tying this morning. I woke up and I have a terrible pain in my left hip. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm not moving around a lot in my sleep, so I know I didn't injure it. So I am guessing it has something to do with the pinched nerve that I have in my lower back. So yeah, lots of fun. Seems like it's just been one thing after another with health issues for me. Okay, so there's that one. Then I have some that are much smaller, so I thought we'd do one of those together. Now, my papers are a little short on the sides. I don't really care. I'll be honest with you. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to glue this down. This glue, it only works so-so. It's School glue stick. I don't really highly recommend it by any means. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. But for this, I can always go back and use my Bearly Art glue. It's usually right on the corners where it has issues. So, there we have it. Now I have a couple of others here, so I'm going to go ahead and glue those down as well while I'm at it. Get that step out of the way. So again, you can see the size of the promissory note. Which, I mean, these would just make cute ephemera, you know, and you could use the back to do your writing on. Just fold them up and use them like that as well in your journal. Okay. I'm putting a little extra glue on these because of the fact that I know it's not great glue stick. Okay, there's that one. And here's the third one. And you'll notice the other two use that dark parchment paper I get from Amazon. And the last one is, of course, the newspaper print, which, you know, I use with my grandson. Usually, too, I use it to lay down when I have friends over to craft to save my table. Oops, see, that one crinkled for some reason. And now, watch, it'll have stuck well enough that I won't be able to get that apart. Fingers are kind of clumsy to, yeah, see, I'm not going to be able to get that apart. It's just a little wrinkle. Just adds beauty and texture, right? That's how we look at it. But now I'm going to have to do this. Okay, well, yeah, there we go. Okay, so use whatever size you want. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go in and distress and get that over with, which truly, I know, is not fascinating to watch. So, what can I tell you about? Oh, I know what I need to do first. Corner round. I can't find my big corner chomper. I know it's here somewhere, but not finding it. So this one doesn't work as well. Oh, I did okay that time. It usually leaves like a little mess on the corners, and it's irritating. Then I have to go in and trim it, and then I'm like, okay, why am I using this? And of course, these are a little damp. So, yeah. See, it just didn't quite cut that all the way. Let's try putting it back in. And, yeah, it left a mess. Just not really. Whoa, what a mess it left. Looks like it ate it. Mouse has been here. Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, that's real even. Woo-wee. See, look at that. My goodness. Gail can't fold straight. Of course, I could just, when I distress it, cover it up, right? That's another way instead of sitting here cutting it. Yeah, this is a really simple Roxy's challenge this week. Next week's I really liked a lot. And I used some really cool paper, which I will tell you about when we get there. But for right now, there, let's see what we can do with these. Oh, see, now it left a little bit of a mess. Just not good. It just isn't crisp. Oh, and now it would appear it's stuck. I just love this. Oh, my goodness. Let's see if I can hurt myself on screen, huh? Oh, there, I think it popped. No, just thought it did. I've just not had real good luck with, well, this one's just going to sit to the side. And this one, yeah, I think I am just going to do a little bit of this. Yep, that works. Maybe even better. Right? Doesn't have to be a lot. There we go. How pretty is that? Okay. Oh, very typical. Okay, so, yeah. Didn't mean to leave my distress ink open. But hey, what can I say? Alright, so distressing. I'll go as fast and as painlessly as I can. Okay. Into the zone. Okay, here we go. All right. Now, the other thing, see, cute, that's upside down though, isn't it? Yeah, that's upside down. Well, there we go. Let's do it this way and have it over here, right? There's nothing that says this has to be on this side. So, let's do that. Or is that why I did that? No, let's go back. Okay, are you getting dizzy out? 'Cause I know I am. Okay, so this one had this paper in it, and I'm just gonna corner around real nonchalantly here. Okay. Now, I'm not going to do each one of these pages individually. It's not all that important to me. I am just going to do the outer edge and call it good enough, okay? Now, I want to put these in, and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to feel to make sure that it's right down in there. You can feel it with your nails that it's down in that seam. Okay, now I am going to eyeball it and find the center. Poke through, watch out, make sure your finger's not in the way. Doesn't have to go through much, just a little. Normally I would say 1 inch, but these are pretty tiny, so, and I'll show you, I'm not going through much, so you can just barely see that needle. There you go. And over here, about equidistant again. If it makes you happy to measure, you go for it. But it doesn't make me happy. Okay, and there it is, you can see. Just barely see the needle through, and that's good enough. Okay, I need a needle and a thread, and I will show you, first of all, I think I will use my bookbinding thread. I've used other things, and this just makes me happy. So I need a needle that will work well with that and have a big enough head. I don't need this Humongo one. That should work. I got my bookbinding kit off of Amazon, and I do like it. It comes with thread and needles, and this, everybody calls it the Pokey tool. It's got another name, and right now I can't think of what it is. Okay, woohoo, see, that went in pretty easily. So, how do I measure for doing this? Okay, so normally what you do is For the binding, this is a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You do 1, 2, 3. Okay, that puts us there. But now we also want it to bind. Okay, so we're going to have one that goes around and around to here, and then we need a bow. Then we need, like my methodology, another one that's going to go around and around, and then a bow. Okay, so that's how I did that. Real scientific. Okay, so let's see how good we did. All right. Now, unfortunately, because I moved this, I've got to line that back up. Not a biggie. I can see or feel. There's my hole there. Here's my hole here. And then we go. Now, have to remember the bulk of this is going to be out here for tying. Okay. So, doesn't matter which way you go. You can either go to the top or to the bottom. I'm going to go up here to the top. Pull it through. Yeah. See, I left too long a tail on there. Okay, there. Now, I'm going to go down here to the bottom. There's my hole. Oopsie. There. Find it. Pull that. And again, I left too long a tail. There we go. Actually, no, I didn't leave long enough. So, I wasn't thinking. Go figure. Okay. So, I'm just loosening this up. Whoopsie. And allowing this to have more string. Now this one has probably too much, so we'll give some more back over here. There we go. Okay, now we want our strings to be on opposite sides of the thread. So you see we have one on this side. So this one we want on this side when it comes out. So through the same hole, but, whoopsie, on this side this time. Okay, so we pull that up. And we're going to pull that to make it nice and taut. So, you don't want to pull too hard because this is pretty flimsy paper, right? You can get rid of your needle now because you're just going to tie a couple of knots. So, let's tie some knots. Do 2 knots. And another one. And boom. Okay, now what I also like to do is to go in and just to make sure the pages are nice, and there we go. And by the way, I used 4 pieces of paper, just so you know. That doesn't mean if you want them thicker, you go for it. Now I'm going to go on this side and just make sure they're folded over. One of the things I have learned with binding is that if you use too big a needle, it makes really big holes that show. And if you push it through too far, you get big holes that show. So, okay, so there we have that. And that. And now we can wrap it and tie it. And it may be too long and we can cut it off. Let's just hope it's not too short. And you see my little fingers are struggling with tying today. I'm not sure what the issue is, but really not loving it. There. Okay. So there you have it. Pretty easy peasy, right? And again, if you want to decorate these, you can. If you want to cut these off some, you can, but I don't really care too much. Okay, so let me go back over here to this. I already did this bigger one. Got it all prepped and ready to go. And with these dark ones, I still do, because you'll see a little white around the edges. I still, the whole pack together, went and did that, okay? So, again, I'll show you the binding part, which, pretty easy peasy. Kind of got it lined up here where I want it. Feels good. It's like it's down in there. Eyeball the center and just barely, see, there it is, poke through. Over here, same thing. Whoop, that went through too far, but it's okay. The binding police aren't here. That one went through pretty hard too. Oh well. Okie dokie. So it helps if you have your string all cut first, I have to say, but I didn't, so there you have it. And again, I'm using my faithful, it's waxed thread and I like it. So 1, 2, 3, that takes care of the binding. Then once around and a bow. So again, once around and a bow. So, you'd rather have too much than not enough, right? At least I would. Okay, now where did I set the needle? This could be an issue. Ah, here it is. It's sliding away. Oops, like everything else on my desk. That was just the mouse. But that's okay, because I don't need that right now, right? Okay. Woohoo, got lucky and it went through, huh? Okay, so over here, there's my hole. That's not the hole. It is moved. Do 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 do. Nope, it's right. Okay, there we go. Leave a good amount there. Pardon me, still having, I guess it's sinus issues, I don't know. My daughter sent me a bunch of information about the Delta variant when I told her I was having a lot of sneezing, headache, cold, you know. So, kind of frightened me. was a weekend. I could make an appointment, but, you know, when am I going to get in to be COVID tested? So I bought one of the over-counter ones. Costs about $23.99 for 2. This came from Rite Aid. So there's my plug for Rite Aid. Okay, so now we're going to go back through here. And it's going to go on the other side. Okay. Tight. Pull the needle off. And, yep, there we go. Anyhow, the test was negative, so that made me feel a little bit better. But I know none of the tests are 100%, you know, so it is what it is. All right, so just sort of lightly fold it over. But I guess, and then I went on and listened to Dr. John Campbell. I really like what he has to say about everything. He seems very level-headed doctor here. He's out of the UK, I believe that's what his accent sounds like anyhow. Yeah, he's out of the UK. And he had the latest CDC leaked report, and so he was analyzing that and giving info and whatever. But I guess the deal with the Delta variant is you really think you just have a cold. It's that mild for people who have been vaccinated like I have. So, yeah. For others, it may not be so. So, if you're unvaccinated, it, you know, is rather scary. But, yeah. It's just that it's so highly transmittable, I guess. And even if you've been vaccinated, you can carry it. So, that's a concern. Okay, so there's yet another one. I might cut those strings. They're a little long. But if you put stuff in it at any point, you know. Okay, do you need me to do more? I mean, I can. Hey, did I? Yes, that one had been distressed. So, I think you are probably good. This, finally came undone. And yes, I am going to just do this on it because that was enough for me to say, hey, don't use it again. Of course, it's probably because the glue was still damp, so, right? Actually, no, it does that periodically, I've noticed, so just haven't been super happy with that. Okay, I'll go ahead and finish up the next two real quickly. Okay, so we also had some excitement in our neighborhood yesterday. Sitting quietly in the den, watching TV, when there was a huge explosion sound. I felt pretty assured that a house had blown up, in all honesty. And my son also thought something major had blown up as well. We investigated, and yeah, cop cars and fire trucks were across the street and over one kitty-cornered from us in this beautiful white house that everyone always admires. So they were there for probably 20 minutes. And as far as we could tell, left without doing anything other than investigating. And my son said he was in his bedroom and his window faces the street so he could see this house. And he said right after the explosion, a black Charger and a truck took off very rapidly from the scene. So we don't know. This isn't the kind of neighborhood you'd find a meth lab, but then what neighborhood is really that kind of neighborhood anymore? It happens everywhere. So we thought maybe it was one of those M80 fireworks, you know, that's so loud, sounds like a bomb, that they had set off outside somehow. I don't know, but it shook everything, and it felt pretty bad, like a house had blown up. I thought, oh, gas explosion, we might need to leave, but apparently not. So, I couldn't find anything on Facebook or on any of the news sites about it, so I don't know. And haven't seen anything yet today about it either. So, what was it? I do not know. Kind of curiouser and curiouser. And the neighbors don't really get out and socialize a lot in my neighborhood. They never have since we've been here in almost 20 years, so I don't know if I'll ever find out what it was. But hopefully, just a little frightening. So yeah, and then we had major storms come through in the middle of the night, so all I heard at first was the big booms, and then I'm like, oh my God, did the house blow up again? But once I was awake, I could listen and hear rain, and then I saw lightning and heard some more thunder. I knew, oh, just a storm. So yeah, that is our excitement here in our little quiet neighborhood, and everybody that comes to visit talks about what a quiet neighborhood I live in, and I do, so I'm like, don't know, but I mean, we have people of all ages in this neighborhood, so it's really not, geez, no matter what I do, it's not working out so well, is it? Well, doesn't matter, we're going that way. So anyhow, that's the scoop from my neck of the woods, and I hope you all are having less excitement than me. I'm just doing that because the outer edges of the pages, you can see a little white because they're printed. Now these are a little narrower. I don't care, it's just a little notebook, and I wasn't going to waste that paper, so yeah, that's what I did. Okay. So now, let's do both of these at the same time, right? 1, 2, 3, around and a bow. Around and a bow. All right. So that's for one. These are both the same size, so let me cut another piece the same size. Sorry, you're seeing underneath this white paper the backing that I had on top of this. I guess you would call it like a, it's almost like a tray that pulls out of this computer desk, whatever, shelf. Anyhow, the paper finally started ripping and wearing, and so I've got to look for something else to put down now. Yeah. So, okay. Let's thread the needle. Ow! That didn't feel good either. Okay. There. Okay, so here we go. Whoops, I hit the camera. That was not good. I am so sorry. Okay, here's my little pokey tool. And put that in there. Whoops, there's another loose one. Alrighty, let's get you guys all nice and neat. There we go. Right down in there. Center as close as we come. Poking out just a hair. Yep, over here. There we go, poking out just a hair. Over here, poking out just a hair. Okay. Needle in hand. Over here. Got to find, there we go, there's the hole. Leave the bulk of the string out. No, because we're going to need equal parts, kind of, plus that. Okay. Then we're going to go over here. That's good. Sorry about my hands. I've been distressing. That just didn't want to go through. Now we're going to go all the way down here. Pokey through. Okay. Here. This side. Okay. Got rid of my needle. Pulled everything taut. They're on different sides of that piece of thread. And tie it off. 1, 2. Okay, let's just there. And we'll go back to the center and fold them this way. And again, I just used 4 sheets Okie dokie. Boom, boom. Okay, once around. Whoops, wrong. Once around and tie. Okay, so there's that. Again, decorate your heart out. Okay, last one. This one has a little more room in it. Okay, find the center. Boom. 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 Here's our needle. Here's our thread. Okay, so we're going to line it up on the outside. There's that. There's that. Pull it through. Oops. Gotta remember to leave a lot, really. Okay, here and here. Oops, we're stuck. Go down here. Okay. Pull it through. You probably don't even really have to poke the holes on these because they're so lightweight, but whatever floats your boat. Want to make sure those are on opposite sides. How are we before yeah, that one's a lot shorter. Let's see. There. Now it's a little bit longer. Right? Or did I shorten it? Well, I feel like I kind of shortened it, truthfully. There, okay. Now they're more even. Okay. Double check, everything looks good. Yep. Yep. Now let's tie them off. 1, 2. Okay, we're almost done here. And if I'm making a bigger journal, I do the same thing with the pages. I don't know what to tell you that does, but I feel like it makes it less fluffy, helps things to lay flatter and better. Don't know. Okay, so boom, boom. Guess it goes this way, right? Around and a bow. Around and a bow. Oh, ho, ho. That one doesn't seem right, does it? This one does. This one doesn't. Whatever, right? Just tie it, Gail. That didn't seem right either. Don't know. Don't seem to be able to do things logically. Okay, and if I were timing it, I think I've been on close to 45, even though I didn't plan on it. I didn't think it would take that long to do these. So, alrighty. There's this size, and then these little ones. Okay, Roxy's weekly challenge number 29. So, hey, find your joy, follow your joy. Be creative, play, have some fun with art, and while you're at it, please stay safe and stay healthy. Bye-bye.